Since his explosive debut in The Incredible Hulk, 2008, the Hulk has remained one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's most iconic, yet consistently underutilized characters. While Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor have each undergone complete narrative arcs with powerful payoffs, Bruce Banner's monstrous alter ego has meandered through the MCU, transformed more by convenience than character depth. In recent years, fans have grown increasingly frustrated with his development, especially the shift into the so-called Smart Hulk, a transformation that occurred entirely off-screen. But all hope isn't lost. If Marvel wants to redeem the Green Goliath, it's time to bring one of his most sinister comic book storylines to the small screen, Future Imperfect, a misused giant in the MCU. Hulk's MCU journey has been a mixed bag. Edward Norton first brought the character to life in a solo film that, while not a massive success, laid a grounded and serious foundation. When Mark Ruffalo took over in The Avengers, fans welcomed the balance of rage and heart that he brought to the role. But post-Avengers, Endgame, the Hulk has become less of a tragic figure and more of a meme. Donning dad shirts, dishing out tacos, and dabbling in quantum physics, Smart Hulk emerged with little explanation, sapping much of the ferocity and fear that once defined him. What's worse, Bruce Banner's transformation into Professor Hulk, one of the most psychologically rich arcs in the comics, was condensed into a throwaway line. Gone was the inner turmoil, the struggle between man and monster, and the dramatic tension that made the Hulk so compelling. Combined with limited screen time and a lukewarm reception to She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Hulk fans are hungry for a return to form. The Maestro, a dark reflection of Hulk's potential. Enter Future Imperfect, a storyline penned by legendary Hulk writer Peter David. In this dystopian tale, we meet the Maestro, a future version of the Hulk who has embraced his power to terrifying extremes. After a nuclear apocalypse wipes out most of Earth's heroes, the Hulk absorbs massive amounts of radiation, becoming even stronger and more deranged. Ruling what's left of the world with an iron fist, the Maestro is a godlike tyrant, terrifying in both his intellect and brutality. This is not just another evil variant. The Maestro represents everything Bruce Banner fears he could become, a monster whose logic justifies cruelty, whose power knows no bounds, and who no longer sees himself as human. It's this philosophical conflict that makes Future Imperfect the ideal story to revitalize the MCU Hulk. In confronting his dark future self, Banner is forced to reckon with what separates him from the Beast, and what might not. Why a Disney Plus series is the perfect fit. Due to rights issues with Universal, Hulk hasn't had a proper solo film since 2008. But Disney Plus opens a loophole. Television series aren't bound by the same restrictions, which is how Marvel was able to greenlight She-Hulk. A Hulk-centered Disney Plus show could finally give the character the space he deserves to develop, and what better source material to build that show around than Future Imperfect. Rather than trying to cram the Maestro saga into a 2-hour movie, a Disney Plus series would allow for deep character exploration, moral tension, and world-building. One possible approach could involve a dual timeline structure. The first season might adapt Peter David's 2020 Maestro miniseries, detailing how the Hulk becomes a tyrant. The second season could then jump forward to the main Future Imperfect arc, where a younger Banner is brought forward in time to confront the despot he's destined to become. This storytelling format, mirroring shows like Arrow with its frequent use of flashbacks, could help establish the emotional stakes while showing how one man could fall so far. It would also finally introduce characters like Rick Jones into the MCU, further connecting the Hulk's past, present, and future in a meaningful way. Tone and execution, a brutal return to form. Marvel Studios has often leaned toward humor and accessibility, even with darker characters. But Future Imperfect requires a tonal shift. Think less Thor, Ragnarok, and more Logan or Daredevil, Born Again. This story demands visual and emotional weight, barren wastelands, shattered cities, and one-on-one brawls between titans. The Maestro isn't just a strong opponent, he's the apocalyptic embodiment of Bruce Banner's worst fears. Stylistically, the show could draw inspiration from Zack Snyder's bleak and brutal interpretation of Superman's darker timelines, blending high-stakes action with moral ambiguity. Audiences need to believe that the Maestro is an unstoppable force, and that the only one who can stop him is the version of the Hulk who swore never to become him. Fixing the Hulk and reinventing the MCU. A future imperfect adaptation wouldn't just fix the MCU's Hulk problem, it could reshape the character for a new era. It would re-establish the Hulk as one of the most dangerous beings in the Marvel Universe and elevate him back into the narrative spotlight. More importantly, it would give Bruce Banner a meaningful internal conflict and force the MCU to explore the darker edges of its characters again. In a cinematic world now flooded with multiverses, variants, and legacy characters, the Maestro offers something more than another evil doppelganger. He is Bruce Banner without restraint, a sobering look at the corruption of power and the fragility of morality. Bringing that vision to Disney Plus could be the key to turning a sidelined Avenger back into a force of nature.